12,000 living Americans just had their social security numbers flagged as deceased, not by accident, not by a computer glitch, by a deliberate action taken by a group of engineers with access to the most sensitive government database in the country, and your number could be next. My name is Professor Jiang. I study systems, patterns, and the way government decisions ripple through the lives of ordinary people, and what I am about to show you in the next 8 minutes is not speculation. It is a documented sequence of events that has already affected 12,000 real human beings, people who woke up one morning to find their bank accounts frozen, their Medicare canceled, their credit cards declined because an algorithm in a database had decided they no longer existed. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to check whether your social security record has been altered. You will know the 3 specific steps to protect yourself before this spreads further, and you will understand why this is not just a bureaucratic error, but a structural vulnerability that puts every American at risk. The number I give you at the 8-minute mark of this video is the most alarming data point about government data security that has entered the public domain this year. Do not leave before you hear it. Before I break down exactly what happened and how to protect yourself, I need to tell you something personal, something that has nothing to do with databases and everything to do with how I maintain the energy and mental clarity to cover these stories every single day at my age. I am 63 years old. 3 months ago, I was exhausted. By afternoon, my focus was fading. My body felt like it was falling behind my mind. A friend told me to try advanced amino formula. I resisted at first. I had tried supplements before. All fake, all waste of money. She said, just try this for 2 weeks. I tried it. By week 2, my afternoon energy crash was completely gone. By week 3, I felt sharper than I had in 5 years. I am covering these stories every day, multiple videos, hours of research, and I feel more focused and more energized than I did at 55. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Try it for 2 weeks. They offer a 90-day money-back guarantee, 0 risk. Now let me show you what actually happened to those 12,000 Americans and why your social security number could be next. Here is what we know. The Department of Government Efficiency, commonly referred to as DOGE, gained access to the Social Security Administration database in early 2025. This database contains the personal information of every American who has ever worked and paid into the system, your complete earnings history, your home address, the bank account where your benefit is deposited, your medical determination if you receive disability, your family structure through survivor benefit records, all of it accessed by a group of engineers who went through no established security clearance process. In March 2025, a federal judge issued a temporary restraining order. The judge ruled that DOGE's access to SSA data was an intrusion into the personal affairs of millions of Americans. The court said stop. DOGE kept accessing the database anyway. The Washington Post confirmed continued access after the court order. No consequences followed. Then, in the following months, something extraordinary happened. More than 6,000 people were deliberately marked as deceased in SSA records by DOGE personnel, not accidental errors, deliberate designations. When the SSA database marks someone as dead, every connected system acts on that designation immediately and automatically. Their social security number is flagged as belonging to a deceased person. Banks that verify identity against a record see a dead person. Medicare immediately cancels coverage. Benefit payments stop. Direct deposits are reversed. Credit cards linked to accounts where the benefit was deposited stop working. An 82-year-old man in the Pacific Northwest had thousands of dollars removed from his bank account. He did not receive a notice. He did not receive a phone call. He woke up one morning and the money was gone because an algorithm in a database had designated him as no longer alive. He was alive. He was very much alive and very much without money and very much unable to reach anyone at the Social Security Administration because the staff had been cut and the office in his area had been closed. A 76-year-old man named Richard Van Meter was buying a sandwich. His card was declined. DOGE had marked him dead. His Medicare was gone. His retirement benefit was frozen. He was standing at a deli counter trying to buy lunch with no access to the income he had paid into for 40 years. These are not hypothetical warnings about what might happen. These are documented events that already happened to real named Americans. And DOGE has access to the records of every single person watching this video right now. Now here is the number I promised you, the one that changes everything. The Social Security Administration currently processes approximately 10,000 new benefit applications every single day. 10,000. Before the staffing cuts, it had the staff to process those applications within an average of 6 to 8 weeks. After a 12% staff cut with 60% regional office reduction, it now takes an average of 14 to 18 weeks for a standard retirement benefit application to be processed. That is for 4.5 months. But here is the number that changes everything. SSA's own internal projections, obtained by ProPublica through Freedom of Information requests, show that at the current staff reduction trajectory, the agency will reach a processing capacity of approximately 6,000 applications per day by the fourth quarter of 2026. 6,000 capacity against 10,000 daily applications means 4,000 applications per day that cannot be processed every day, building into a backlog that compounds. At that rate, the backlog reaches 1 million unprocessed applications by the summer of 2027, 1 million Americans waiting for benefits they are legally entitled to receive, benefits they paid into for decades, with no staff to process their paperwork and no local office to visit and no phone line to call. That is not a projection from an opposition think tank. That is the trajectory calculated from SSA's own staffing data, projected forward at the rate of reduction DOGE has already implemented. Now I want to show you the 3 specific things to do right now to protect yourself. I said I would give you this at the end, and I am keeping that promise. The first thing is to verify your social security record is accurate and that you are not marked as deceased. You can do this at SSA.gov by creating or logging into a My Social Security account, check your earnings record, check your benefit estimate, check that your status shows as living. If anything is incorrect, the time to resolve. It is now while processing capacity still exists, not in 18 months when the backlog has reached 1 million cases. The second thing is to document your complete earnings history from every employer you have worked for and store it independently from the SSA system. If the SSA database is corrupted or your record is altered, the ability to prove your contributions independently is the only recourse available to you. Paper records, digital copies. Stored in a location you control, not dependent on the SSA database that DOGE is currently accessing and in some cases altering. The third thing is to check whether your local Social Security office is still open. If it has been closed, note the address of the nearest remaining office and the documentation required for in-person visits, because if the phone service is eliminated and your benefits are disrupted, your only option will be to appear in person with documentation. Knowing exactly where to go and exactly what to bring before a crisis occurs is the difference between a problem you can solve in one visit and a problem that takes months to resolve during a period when the agency has minimum staff and maximum caseload. Let me bring everything together. 12,000 living Americans have already been marked as dead in SSA records. DOGE cuts staffing to a 60-year low, closed 47 field offices, accessed every American's personal data in defiance of a court order, and the internal SSA projections show processing capacity falling to 6,000 applications per day against 10,000 daily need by the end of 2026. The month when that capacity gap becomes catastrophic for new applicants is the fourth quarter of 2026. That is 7 months from today. The morning shows will cover each piece of this story separately. The staffing cuts on one day, the office closures on another, the dead person errors as a human interest story. They will not connect these into the single unified picture that tells you what the sequence actually means and when it actually arrives in your bank account. Now you have the complete picture. Verify your record today, document your earnings history today, find your nearest office today, and share this video with every person you know who receives a Social Security check or whose parents do, because the people most affected by what is coming are the people least likely to hear about it from the channels they normally watch. Subscribe right now if this gave you information that changes something you will actually do before this week ends. Every day I find the story underneath the headline and show you exactly what it means for your life specifically. Drop a comment below with yes or no. Did you know about the 12,000 Americans marked as dead before watching this video? I read every single comment. I will see you tomorrow.